Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Weeb Signal Podcast. I am your host, Poxal, and today I am joined with the usual co-host, Off-Brand Briggs.
I'll be honest, I didn't know this was actually going to be the start. I thought he was doing another test until about 2 seconds into that intro. So yeah, I guess you can see how prepared we are. We're very excited. I'm Tyler Doe, aka Off-Brand Brigo, aka the next Taku, and I'm here with my my host for today, who is just basically like a lesser version of any generic YouTuber you can think of.
Yeah, but it's really nice hanging out with Walmart brand breaks. You know,
great value breaks here. Yeah, so basically, like, I guess today we really just wanted to talk about like the introduction to the podcast, what made us want to do this podcast, and anything else you have in mind. I mean, that's pretty much all that I am prepared for, but I can always talk about anything else too.
Yeah, basically just that. We're just going to be talking about introducing you guys to us as viewers. We're going to be talking about how we met. We're going to be talking about why we're doing this podcast and just stuff like that. You'll see timestamps in the description and potentially in the pinned comment. It depends if I'm lazy or not.
All right, so none in the pinned comment is what you're saying.
Yeah, probably not. But
I want to say this before we start. This is one of the only Anituber friends that I have that is an interesting how we met story. Because I feel like almost every single story for how we met for Anitubers, it's always just like
how I met your mother.
No, it's more fun to say that. It's like yeah, I was on Twitter and then I saw him and I followed him. Like that's pretty much how all of them go, except for this one. This one's actually got a little bit of interestingness to it, I think. But why don't you start? What was it like for you? Let me get your perspective on how we met.
Yeah, so basically what was going on was I was just streaming your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. But I was basically just chilling in this one Anituber Discord server. And this guy named Tyler Doe joined the server. And then he DM'd me specifically. I didn't know who this guy was. He was like, I am the biggest clout chaser out there.
I knew you were going to say something like that. I forgot about this whole aspect. Okay. So let me start off by saying, let me interrupt you real fast. One thing that you should know is that whenever I first started on Anitube, for some reason I had never figured out that it's very cringy just to reach out to people and collab without knowing them. And so I used to just message everybody and be like if I saw your channel and thought, oh, they have a good channel, I was messaging you. Like I was messaging you and saying, hey, can you be in a video with me? Because I was just so thirsty for like getting started, I guess. But anyways, continue.
So I want to make it clear. I didn't think that he was a clout chaser. I just thought he was unusual to just straight out DM me and be like, hey, want to collab? You can do a video on my channel, then I can do a video with you on yours. And at the time, I wasn't really the type of person who liked collabing. Of course, now if you look at my channel, I have a collab with Briggs, I have a collab with Katie, I have a collab with Tyler. I have collabs now on my channel, but at the time I was trying to stick to myself because I was only doing analysis content. I felt like
I don't know, sometimes whenever you do analysis content and you bring in somebody else, they can really throw a wrench in like whatever opinion or whatever point you're trying to make, I guess. But I like a lot of times it works out properly and they come up with something that you just wouldn't have thought of. But I mean, like, two out of 10 times you got somebody saying something that's like, oh my god.
Yeah,
so
that's 100%. And then so basically after that, I was like, oh, this guy's a little strange reaching out to me like this. And I didn't really want to have him come on my channel, but I was really open to going on to his channel.
and that's how it goes too. Like if you're a smaller YouTuber, and don't get me wrong, we're both still smaller YouTubers, but if you're even smaller than us, do not reach out and expect them to be on your channel and you to be on their channel. That's just unrealistic, and it's almost like rude. Like it's rude for you to put them in a position to be like, oh, I now have to put this guy on my channel. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of rude to me. But anyways.
I'm like the type of person that like when I want somebody to collab with me, I'm going to reach out to you. I'm not here to somebody reaching out to me and saying, hey, I want to collaborate. I want to be on your channel. I want to be on your channel. Please? Yes?
I mean,
yes?
if it's one of my friends, I have no problem being like, hey, if we're going to do this collab, can we make it a two-way thing? But if it's somebody that I just don't know, I just think that is so rude to do. Yeah. Now that I look back at it now, but at the time I had no grasp on that. And so I message Poxal and I say, and first of all, let me also say, I thought his name was Poxal this entire time. And so I'm messaging Poxal and I'm saying, hey, can I be on your channel? You be on my channel? And I think that I want to say that you said yes, or I can't remember. Do you remember exactly what you said?
I can't remember exactly, but I think I said something around like I didn't want to, but I said I'll think about it. But
Oh,
then
you
I
like
said,
weaseled around it a little.
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
said
yeah.
for sure I'll go on your channel though.
Yeah.
And I know that you weren't going for the clout chasing aspect, but kind of like in my eyes, I was like, I don't really like collaborating on my channel. But like I'm always open to like when somebody reaches out to me to help them with a video.
Right.
I'm always open for that, and it's not because I want to be on their channel for clout. It's because I want to genuinely help the person.
Right.
But like to ask to be on their channel, I don't know. It can come off as kind of a bit rude if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely does. Like I seriously look back at every like. Okay, if you're listening to this and I ever did that to you, God, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry for putting you in that position, because now I've been put in that position a few times and I know how like awkward it can be, because it's just the nature of the beast. Like you have all these videos in mind for what you want to do, right? And then all of a sudden somebody else is messaging you saying, hey, let's do this instead. And it's like, oh, now I have to do this, but I didn't really want to do that, you know? So I can totally understand why you wouldn't have done it on my channel now that I'm looking back at it. But at the time, I didn't view it that way.
Yeah.
But anyways, so...
But like, and this is not me calling out Ray, because Ray was, the way that she did it was hilarious. So like, I wanna bring her onto my channel.
Yeah,
and she was like, "Hey, we should collab." She never said we should collab on your channel. She just said we should collab, and I said, "Hey, want to come over to my channel and read Yowie with me?"
Dude, first of all, that was really funny. Shout out to Ray on that.
Yeah,
one. That was
honestly, shout out to Ray. She's awesome because she just saw me tweet, so she was memeing around, being like, "Hey, I love your channel. You want to collab?"
Oh my god, I just look back at that and I'm like, I was not that bad, but I was on that level of like I was on the same wavelength as that. Like whenever I first started.
So I think you just misconveyed like who you were, kind of in that sense. Because like you're a really, really cool dude, and I think it's fine to like go up to somebody and say, "Hey, want to come to my channel?" Like that's
right,
brilliant.
right. Yeah,
that's
I totally
fine.
agree.
Like I want to make my stance on that. But when you go to somebody and you're like, "Hey, you should add me to your channel. You should have me collaborate on this video," unless they're like looking for people to come on, like they put a tweet out saying like yeah, I think it can come off as a bit rude unless you know the person very well. Like,
okay, I don't want to get too bogged down on this point, so let's move on from this point and let's move on to the actual meat and potatoes of how we met.
Okay.
So, I'm gonna switch it to my
story.
perspective. So there was an AnyTuber. I won't name names, but there was an AnyTuber, and I know you're listening to this, and I still think this is funny that this happened now, but at the time it was like the most devastating thing that ever happened to me in my life. So I joined. I'm on Twitter. It's like the first time that I got on any sort of anime community. I've never been a part of an anime community before this, and I was like, you know what? I cannot find anybody to collaborate with, because I was looking for collabs. I couldn't find anybody to collaborate with, and I tweeted something along the lines of, I can't find anybody who has less than like 500 subscribers to collaborate with. I wish that I knew a way. And I will say that this person, you're going to hear what they did later that made me kind of feel like, oh God, I don't know about this person. But I'm so grateful to this person because they reached out to me and invited me to an anime YouTuber Discord. So they send me the link to the Discord. I get in there, and that's how I met Poxal originally.
Yeah.
But the real way where we met, so I asked him collab. He basically says no without saying no, which is fine. I totally get it. Then I'm in one of Poxal's streams, and I hadn't gotten on Discord at that point because it was kind of early in the morning when he was streaming. And so I'm in one of his streams, and I'm like just a fan, I'm like, I don't know him at all at this point. Like it's literally just me being a fan of him and watching his stuff. So I'm on his stream, and all of a sudden he goes, "Yeah, man, sorry to hear about what happened to you on the Discord." And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, you're in a new channel they made just for you called Jail." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, apparently this person's tweet or this person's video got restricted because somebody claimed it, and they think that it was you, so they just put you in jail." And you got to keep in mind, I was so freaking bright-eyed and bushy-tailed about YouTube at this point. Like, I was so excited to actually be making friends on YouTube now. And so I was like, I finally found a place where I could reach out to people and they can be in my stuff. And then all of a sudden, this happens. I get moved to jail. This is literally one day after I joined this freaking server, by the way. And if you like, I know, Poxal, you've told me this before since then. You've been like, now that I know you, I know that you would just never do that. And I'm like, yeah, I never would. But I can understand how they would think it was me, because it was literally the day after I joined their server. All of a sudden, like 2 of his videos that were unlisted, by the way, get copyright stricken. And so I can see how it looked. but I was just devastated. And Poxal's just breaking this to me in the middle of a Twitch stream that I'm a part of, and I'm just like responding back like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, man. And for him,
well, I mean, I didn't say it like that. Like the way I said it was like I was like, oh yeah, did you hear about what happened on the Discord server? And you were like, yeah, I'm super excited to be in there.
Oh, yeah.
And then my response is just like, oh, I'm sorry to say this, but you should probably,
oh my god,
you're
right.
check
It was
the
so much
Discord
worse.
server.
It was so much worse than I was remembering. It was like you said, "How is it?" And I go, "Oh, I'm really." You said, "Are you excited about it?" I go, "Oh, dude, I'm so excited." You go, "You should probably go check it out again, brother." Like you were like maybe go look one more time before you say too much right now. Because I was like, oh yeah, dude, I'm so excited. This is so cool. And then as soon as I said it, you go, yeah, I hate to be the one to break it to you, but you should probably go check out the Discord server again. And I go back to look at it, and I didn't at this point, and keep in mind, I still don't really understand Discord that well, like how it works. I had no idea how to use Discord at this point. Like I'd never been a part of another Discord other than there'd never been another Discord that I was a part of. And so I get on there to look at it, and I can't view anything, and I can't. All the channels are gone for me, and I'm like, what?
I think you I think you went back to my Twitch stream and was like, wait, what happened? And then
I was like, why can't I use it? And you're like, oh, you've been put into a different channel. Yeah.
Well, I think like one thing to me was like I didn't know for sure if you were innocent or not. But, like, based on our interactions in that Twitch stream, you were one of, like, the nicest people in there. And I was like, there's no way that this guy can be guilty.
That was before Poxal really knew me.
Yeah, this is before I was in a voice chat with him. This is before we became addicted fans to each other.
Yeah, and before he knew I was actually an asshole in disguise.
Yeah. So I thought he was innocent for the most part. I think, like, a lot of the people on the server, like, and I'm just going to be straightforward, they were very, like, not pushovers. I don't want to use that word, but they were like very like to this individual
they
were like
want to rock the boat.
Yeah, because they like I feel like they wanted to keep their like friendship with this person or something. I don't know what.
Which I can understand. This is how I viewed it. Because
you looked a little guilty to them, like.
Yeah,
the other
for sure.
individuals.
I totally see how I looked guilty, and then this is how I looked at it. I was like, okay, they've known this guy for X amount of time. I don't know how long you had that server before I joined, but they've known this guy for X amount of time, and now this guy is blaming this guy that they don't know. You know? And so I totally understood. I still look back at that, and I'm like, yeah, I don't actually think that they did anything wrong. And then actually, whenever I went back into you guys were kind of stupid with this. Well, not you in particular, because you didn't really say anything that would have needed to be covered up. Actually, nobody did. So I went back into the server, and I was like, oh, I'm sure they deleted everything that they were saying about me while I was gone. And I go back and look at what you guys are saying. Nobody was saying anything like rude. Like they were all saying things like I just don't know. I can't trust this guy. He was part of it.
Except me. I'm gonna say I was the only person that didn't say I can't trust this guy.
Oh yeah, you didn't say anything. Like, you were like, I don't know. I think it's kind of crazy to kick him like that or that easily. Like I remember you saying something like along the lines of, "You guys are all blaming him, but we don't even know if it's 100%." But either way, this is a very dramatic story. I feel like in whenever it was happening. But now that I look back at it, it's so silly.
It was silly.
I look back at that and I'm like, dude, why were you tripping about that so hard? But I was literally writing like full paragraphs of why I was not who you guys thought I was. Like literally just like, dude, I didn't do anything. What are you talking about? You know, just back and forth.
Yeah. But, like from my perspective in that situation, I was like, why the heck are they like just just giving this guy this role and not giving him even a chance to defend himself.
Right.
So that's where I came from. Like
I can understand.
I understood where they were coming from, but like if you see, like I said more than just you guys shouldn't just do this. Like I was in a debate with one of the guys, like the main guy that gave you the role. Whereas all the people on those servers, I'm good with, except one I don't know for sure. And me and Tyler know who I'm talking about. We follow each other on Twitter, but like I don't know where our relationship kind of stands. You know, it's that's very weird. Podcast. Yeah, that's for another podcast. But yeah, I think that's really one of the more interesting stories.
And that's pretty much how we met. But I will say, like, we didn't really talk that much after that. Like, we talked a little bit. Like, we'd communicate here or there. We might send each other a message from time to time. But our relationship didn't evolve to where it's at now, where like we pretty much talk every single day for like, you know, some period of time, whether it be on a voice call or we're definitely in communication every single day. Yeah. As far as the extent of that, it kind of depends on what we have going on. Like as soon as you pitched the idea of the podcast to me, which he pitched this idea to me, like you have to realize how long this podcast been in the works. he sent me a message like, no, you called me on voice chat. You said, hey, do you have a minute to talk? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I entered the Discord, and he literally talked to me for like 30 minutes, and this is 2.5 months ago, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually really appreciate that about you. Like, something that I like about you is that you're like willing to give smaller YouTubers a voice to an extent, because I think that I only had like 70 or 80. Yeah, I was gonna say 80 subscribers. I had 80 subscribers. So like, really, he had nothing to gain from me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I just thought.
To gain.
Well, now I have something to gain, but I really thought our personalities just really mended well. Like the few times that we were in voice chat with each other, we were like back and forth. Like we could tell interesting story after interesting story, and I was like, that is podcast material. So
yeah,
like,
and I think that's kind of how you got the idea. Is you were like, bro, this needs to be a podcast, like just these conversations that we're having. And then I think also like you had the idea before Trash Taste came out, but I think that's the thing that really like invigorated it for you. Or did you have it before that? I want to say you did, but anyways, you then were like, after you saw Trash Taste, you were like, oh my god, yeah, this is like kind of the vision that I had already, and now that I've seen this, it like makes me even want to do it more.
For sure.
So
like I've always wanted to do an AniTuber podcast that wasn't all about anime, similar to Trash Taste, where it's just AniTubers chilling. Initially, I was going over who I thought would be the best fit as a co-host for months after months after months. Like, you gotta realize, I had the Anime Academy with Johnny Boy, but I wanted to do another podcast, because the Anime Academy felt like a Rant Cafe, like, copy and paste, kind of. Because it was only about, like, all of the topics we were doing, they had already done. Like, yeah, because
that's something that's hard about this landscape in general, is like and I'm talking about any video, not even just podcasts, but especially podcasts. The things that are going to do well for talking about them for a long period of time have pretty much already been done. Like, there's pretty much no anime related topic you can bring up that hasn't been done already.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the sad parts, I feel like, about AniTube as a whole, is it's very hard to have an original idea.
Yeah, and like, actually, Poxal and I were just talking about this, something similar to this earlier. I had basically needed to do a video really quick, and I was like, okay, well, let me think of something, because my other video fell through. Anyways, I needed an IRL video idea, and so I was talking to my girlfriend, and then I was like, oh my god, I just got an idea. I can do like a quiz video where I quiz you, and then you just like answer how you would answer, because she's not really that big of a weeb, like, at all. I think she's seen like 4 animes. And so I was like, oh yeah, this is such a good idea. And then I realized, oh my god, I've been talking to Poxal so much about his Jeopardy video that just came out, which, by the way, great video. But anyways, I'd been talking to him so much about his Jeopardy video. I go, oh my god, am I just literally stealing Poxal's idea right now and I don't know? And then my girlfriend goes, you know, you told me this exact same idea like 3 months ago, and it's written down in your phone because you showed me the ideas on your phone, and that was one of them. And I go, what? And I go back and look, and it was, sure enough. But still, I thought that I had copied Poxal's idea, and it was too late. Like, by the time that I'd really realized all that, I might have misspoken just now, because whenever we had that conversation, it was definitely after we had already filmed the entire video. Like, it was like, I go, oh my god, I just realized I might have just totally copied him. And then she was like, oh, well, go back and look in your phone. It says right there that you did it 2 months ago. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. But yeah, I just think that like there's so many examples where I'll think of an idea and be like, oh yeah, this is a really, and then I search it up. I'm like, I've seen this video. That's why I have this idea. You know?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons that made me kind of want to like stay away from AniTube as a whole.
Yeah.
Is I'll have this idea, I've written it down, and then I look on YouTube and I see a video of the same idea.
Yeah,
like that was just uploaded by one of my mutuals, and I feel like I'm trash if I did the same thing.
I will say sometimes it's not actually the case. Like, I definitely have had moments where I've had ideas and then realized that I literally was just being inspired by somebody else. And there's a difference between being inspired and being like copying their video. But I've had people, I've told you about this, I've had people that won't be named message me and be like, hey, can you give me credit for this? And I was like, what? I was like, what? And they go, yeah, could you give me credit for this? I already did this video, and now you're doing it. So I think that, like, basically insinuating you copied my idea. Can you give me credit? And I'm like, first of all, this is a very general idea. Second of all, I've like literally seen 2 of your videos. Like, I just haven't seen this video. I'll be honest with you. But yeah.
Plus like, the video that he DM'd you about, like, so many people have done a video like that.
Oh, dude, this is not a unique idea at all. Like, whenever I came up with the idea, I literally didn't even search to see if anybody had done it, because I'm like, oh, for sure people have done this. Like, it was one of those ones where I knew it was unoriginal before I even did it.
100%. Yeah.
But yeah. So I think like another good thing to go over during this would be I've never asked you about this, and I'm actually really curious to hear this. So what would you say is like your start into the whole thing? Was it just that you started making YouTube videos and you started seeking people out, or how did you get started there? I mean,
So I was friends with this guy named Johnny Boy. Johnny Boy, great dude, amazing, awesome man. He introduced me to so many awesome people out there. And
are you guys friends in real life?
No, we are not friends in real life. We don't know each other.
Okay, so how did you meet him?
How did I meet him? So I was on Reddit and I saw RTL do this post about this YouTuber Discord server. So
this is actually crazy. I did not know that it was this random of a chance encounter. Because like when you think about that, like this all stems back to RTL making a post on Reddit. Like all of us becoming friends literally stems back to that.
It honestly is, which is crazy. Like how detailed things become.
I know.
To meet people. Like I would have never known who Tyler. Well, we might have met each other because I did.
No, we wouldn't have met very easily because you would have been part of that Discord server if RTL never, it goes back pretty far.
Oh yeah,
but anyways,
because if I didn't know RTL, I wouldn't be friends with any of the AniTubers I know today. Like to really think about that, because I did YouTube and I thought like there were no small AniTubers out there. Like,
me too. Yeah, because if you search on YouTube, if you search like any video idea and then sort from least popular to popular, you won't find anything. Like you won't find anything until you get to like 5,000 views. Like it's crazy how like under the radar small AniTubers specifically and small YouTubers in general are on YouTube. It's really hard to find.
I had no idea there was as many as there were.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's like hundreds, if not thousands.
That was my post. There's definitely thousands, but that was my post that got me into that Discord. Is that I was basically saying I can't find anybody. Can somebody help me? And that's how I got into that one server. That we were talking about earlier. But so what was really your start into like anime Twitter? I'll say, would you say that Twitter is your biggest avenue to communicating, or would you say Discord is your bigger avenue?
Well, Briggs follows me on Twitter, but he doesn't have me as a friend on Discord, so Twitter.
Degeneracy.
I'm just kidding. But based on what I've seen, like I'll actually continue the story from the RTL thing, because I think
good idea.
That's fairly interesting.
Yeah.
So I met RTL through Reddit. He posted his Discord server link there. I joined that, and me and RTL came up with this kickback anime kind of idea together. So we started these kickbacks. He invited me to the first one, and then the rest were with other people, of course. But
I've been on it.
Yeah, I was in the first one and the first couple, and then I kind of left it. Didn't do any more of them. But they were a lot of fun to do. And it actually kind of inspired me to start the Anime Academy. I mean, I wanted to do an anime podcast for a while, but I knew, like, no AniTubers out there.
Right, yeah.
And I didn't want to do it with an IRL friend, because my IRL friend has seen Death Note, and that's it. And then there's one that's seen JoJo, but that was about it. So basically, we communicated for there a while. Then I met Eddie through that server. And then I went to Eddie's server. Well, then, And then from Eddie's server, I eventually found you, and that's how I met you in particular. Speaking of which, you went to jail once, then you went to jail a second time.
Oh yeah, and then I got put in jail V2. Like after that, they literally made another channel just to put me in jail again,
as a meme too.
Yeah,
and then I think we put you in jail a third time even. I can't remember though. But yeah. Eddie is a great dude, by the way, guys.
Eddie.
I highly recommend you guys check him out.
Yeah, I will say that, like, I'd say the people that stem back from me for the people that, like, kind of, I guess, pushed me along more was you, Eddie, definitely RTL. RTL has pretty much been there for me since, like, 100 subs, because I just hadn't reached out to him yet before that. Those people. And then, honestly, okay, this is a good question for you, actually, speaking of introductions. Was there ever a point where you communicated with anybody who was a bigger AniTuber that kind of inspired you? Because for me, that was Jordan, the anime dude. I sent him a message. It was on my old Twitter account because I literally hadn't even made an anime Twitter yet. Like I was just already feeling like I think I had 15 subscribers, and I was already feeling like, man, I just don't know if this is worth it. Like it was just stressing me out, like just doing it all, and it was hard work, and I just wasn't getting that much reward from it, I felt like. And so I messaged him, and I was just really the reason why I messaged him was because I wanted to see what kind of microphone he had and stuff. I was just curious because I liked the way his videos sound. And he sent me a bunch of stuff, which was nice of him because, like I said, he didn't have to reach out to me at all. And then after he like responded back and forth with me for a minute, I was like, yeah, it's just really hard, and I don't know how I feel about doing all this. And he responded with a picture of him with this
A duct tape headset?
Yes, with a duct tape headset. It literally, so imagine like your stereotypical headset that would have like the mic coming off of it. It literally was broken, and he had to duct tape the mic back onto the headset, and that's what he responds me with, and he says, "Never give up." And it sounds so freaking cheesy whenever I say that, but honestly, that is exactly what I needed to hear. Like, I was so freaking done already. Like, I literally would not be here anymore if he would never have said that, because to me, I had no hope of ever like going anywhere with it, so I was just totally like gonna give up on it entirely. And so I was pretty much done with YouTube as far as everybody else was concerned, like, or as far as my YouTube channel was concerned. But then I reached out to him, and he kind of like inspired me back to making videos again. But yeah, I was just wondering if you have any like stories that are similar to that.
So I think like there's people that after I connected with and talked to, they inspire me now.
Right.
But like I didn't really watch their channels before, which is kind of funny if you think about it.
Yeah.
But I have to say, probably one of the biggest inspirations and funniest stories ever was how I met Briggs.
Oh God, this story makes me cringe. As soon as you told me this, I'm like, I literally wish I could go back to a reality in which you didn't tell me this.
So be prepared, guys. Be prepared for the greatest
get
story of all time. So basically, me and Johnny Boy, so me and Johnny Boy, basically, we were in a voice chat. He was working on his stream, and some guy named Beastly Briggs says hi in the chat. And my brain didn't correlate. Oh, this is Beastly Briggs. This is the guy on Rent Cafe that I'm a huge fan of. I didn't watch Briggs' videos. I didn't watch his streams. Keep that in mind. I only knew him from Rent Cafe because I watched Rent Cafe quite a bit.
Which is funny because I had the exact opposite. Like I had no idea what Rent Cafe was until I like was a fan of Briggs for a long period of time.
For me, it was the opposite. I was a fan of Nux Taku, and Nux Taku got me into Rent Cafe.
Right.
So. So basically, here's this guy named Beastly Briggs in the chat, and I'm out there just memeing around inside the voice chat with Johnny Boy. I'm like, oh look, there's Beastly Briggs in the chat. He must have trash taste in anime. He must rate SAO a 10 out of 10. And then here's Johnny Boy. He's like, dude.
Yeah, he's just Johnny Boy is basically like, from what I understand of the story, hearing it from you and Johnny Boy is just like, what are you doing? Like, like I don't understand why you're doing this, because basically, if you're not getting what's going on, Poxal didn't think that was the real Briggs. Like, he thought this was just some guy with like Beastly Briggs as his name, and so he's sitting there memeing on this guy hard. And
then he says, "Let me join voice chat," and I'm like, "So we can look at your trash taste." I was just memeing, like if this was a normal guy, he'd know I'm just messing around. Like, in my voice, like you can tell by my voice, I was just memeing around using like Nux Taku memes, you know. I was like, you must be a soccer fan. Oh, wait, those don't exist. Anyway, so he adds Briggs to the call. And the first, like, Briggs says, oh, hello. And as soon as he says, oh, hello, I shut my mouth as quickly as possible. I'm like, holy crap. It was at this moment he knew. He just effed up.
Poxal's pushing escape or Control Z, trying to take stuff back. Like, no, please go back in time. And then,
there's more cringe. There's more cringe to the story. Wait.
Go ahead.
So here I am, speechless, unable to talk because I'm like, holy crap, this is the guy I watch on a podcast almost every single day. Well, every single week. Who I'm a huge fan of. Like, I love the whole Chad meme with Briggs and stuff. But so he was just chatting with Johnny, teaching him how to do crap, and I'm just sitting here speechless, and I'm DMing something to my friends, like a copy and paste, being like, oh my gosh, I'm with like my favorite one of the people on my favorite podcast. Holy crap, this guy has like 100k subs. Like, he's insane. He's one of my favorite people. Like it might have sounded like I was like, holy crap, he has 100k subs, let me flex on you, but I was like genuinely just in shock.
You were just like, you were like fanboying a bit.
Yeah. So I copied this message and was sending it to like 4 or 5 of my friends to tell them what's going on. And then Johnny Boy says, hey Poxal, can you copy and paste a link inside the chat? So then when I'm copying and pasting in the chat, I thought I had copied a link, but it turns out I copy and pasted that saying, and then Briggs sees it in the chat.
I did not freaking know about this part.
But now it gets better. It gets better. So Briggs is looking at the chat, and then he looks up and says, hey Poxal, oh my god, I'm in a voice chat with one of my favorite YouTubers.
Oh my god, I didn't know about this part.
He has over 100,000 subscribers. Oh my gosh, he's in the top anime podcast, one of my favorite podcasts. Oh my gosh, this guy, like, he read it out loud on stream. And if you saw my face, I was like, it was at this moment. He effed up twice.
I'm not exaggerating. Whenever you started saying that, I literally started grabbing my hair and kind of pulling at it as if I was trying to pull my hair out because I just can't even imagine being in that scenario. Oh my god, you're lucky that it worked out. Honestly,
yeah. Like,
honestly, if Briggs wasn't just such a nice guy, that might be the moment where he's like, "Oh, that was kind of creepy. I'm out." You know, like.
Yeah, he reads out loud, and it was hilarious. And then after that, I kind of like chill. I'm like, oh yeah, this is just a normal dude. I cringed for like 2 minutes thinking of my actions, and then I chat with him like. We were making fun of Anime Recon or something.
So funny enough, whenever we were in a voice call with him not too long ago, we were all talking, and I don't remember if it was you or me that asked. It might have been you. I can't remember. But one of us asked, "Do you remember that?" Like, and I expect him to be like, "Oh no, like that happens to me all the time."
No, he was like, "Yes."
He goes, "Oh yeah." He goes, "Oh yeah, I totally remember that. That was awkward." Like, it was just really funny whenever he said that because I expect him to be like, "Oh no, I don't remember that at all. That happens to me all the time, man." Because you gotta like realize like how many people are gonna be reaching out to him all the time. Like I'm sure it's like hard to keep track of, but he was like, "Oh yeah, I totally remember."
I think my story was just so big, like so many things happening at once.
Yeah, true. Like it'd
so
be
maybe,
hard to forget.
Yeah,
dude, it has not gotten out of my mind since you told me. Because that is just so cringe to me. I just think back to that, and it's like funny now because like we kind of see how it turned out as far as y'all's relationship. Like it's like yeah, they're friends and they talk still. It's not like that was the end of it, but like it could have very well been like, oh, I'm never talking to that guy again. That was awkward. Like
yeah, like I think he was like, oh, that guy's kind of like weird, but like he's funny.
But it was also flattering. Like it was probably flattering.
No. It was really funny for the chat, and I think it was also kind of funny for him because he read out loud and like his like Ragnar voice or yeah. So like it was a funny experience. After that, we did a podcast with each other, but like during like the whole podcast, like I was cool during the podcast, but like during the whole podcast, in my mind, I was like, Briggs is gonna bring this up. Briggs is gonna bring this up. But he never does. Thank the Lord that he does.
No, he's actually really, really cool and chill about that kind of stuff. Like, I'm not surprised that he didn't bring it up, but it would have been actually really funny if he would have.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just letting you know, if this would have been reversed and it would have been, this happened to me with you, I would have totally freaking brought it up. I'd have been like, bro, remember that time you were fanboying?
And I think it's so cool, like, that one of my inspirations, I can just DM and say, hey, I want to collab, and he'll say yes.
I know that is crazy to me. I remember whenever okay, so I have two. I'm not even gonna say names, but I have two examples of that. One of them just tweeted at me, and I literally was like, I would have never guessed that after doing this, because I think at the time I'd been doing it for a month and a half. I was like, I never would have guessed that after a month and a half, my favorite or one of my top 2 or 3 is literally message or tweeting at me. Like, I just thought that was great. And then the other one, which this is the one that I kind of have a similar story to you, except it was like more just upfront. Like I literally said, this is going to be awkward. And he's actually one of my friends now. Like, he's not like, I don't even view him as like an Anituber as much as I do just like a friend at this point. But he followed me, and then I DM'd him, and I was like, hey, I just want to be friends. Like, I don't even want to, like, I'm not trying to reach out to you for anything. And ever since then, we felt like a good relationship. But in that first day, I literally message him and I go, hey, this is going to be awkward, but I just really feel like I have to say this. And I go, I am such a huge fan of yours.
I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about.
I go, I am such a huge fan of yours. I literally can't believe that this is happening right now. It was like a 12-year-old girl, like a 14-year-old girl, like 5 years ago meeting One Direction. Yeah. That's how I felt. I felt like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And he goes, no big deal. I'm just like a normal guy. And that was one of the first times where I realized like bigger Anitubers are just regular people, which is funny to have that realization as an adult. But at the time, I just like, for some reason, you just put all of these people on a pedestal. Like, you view these bigger anime YouTubers in general. You view them as celebrity. You don't even view them as like somebody who would ever talk to you. Like, who are you? They'd never talk to you. And then you actually meet them, and you're like, dude, these are the kind of people where like if you didn't know who they were and you're talking to them at a grocery store, you just think they're normal people because they are.
Yeah,
they're just regular people.
There's nothing different from them to you. They're just entertaining to talk to. I think that's what makes a lot of the large YouTubers so fun to talk to. Not because they have a large fan base, but because the reason why they're so big is because
they're charismatic or
and they're fun. They're just fun to talk to. And it's kind of funny because I spoke to Jordan and JoJo technically before I subbed to them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Jordan came onto a podcast, and the same podcast with Briggs, and we talked there. We didn't talk too much, but him and Briggs followed me on Twitter after that podcast, and I DM'd Jordan quite frequently. I think I was just still thinking of like the whole thing that happened with Briggs earlier in the whole thing, so I didn't really want to DM him that much because I was worried, like embarrassment.
Yeah.
Now I'm over it. I'm over it now, but yeah. Now I just laugh
it's funny.
about it,
Even knowing that YouTubers are regular people, still every once in a while I'll like for example, whenever we were in that voice call, you would think that I'd be like, oh my god, that's freaking Briggs. I've never talked to him before. The first thing that happened, because I knew Briggs was in there, but I didn't know that JoJo's Talks Too Much is in there. And I love his streams. I love his videos. As soon as he said something, like he was quiet, and then all of a sudden he says something like, yeah, I think that's true. I go, oh, is that JoJo's Talks Too Much? Like just reverted back to a fanboy so quick. And I literally was so surprised to hear him talk. I was like, oh my god, this is exciting.
Yeah, JoJo's a great guy. Like I talked to him first, and like honestly, him and Jordan are probably like unironically they've become inspirations to me, not as Anitubers, but as people. Yeah, as people. Yeah. Just because I think it's because the mindset of meeting them before being a fan of theirs is there in my head, you know?
Right,
JoJo's work ethic is so amazing. He uploads daily anime content. Do you know how rare that is in the Anitube community?
It's hard too. And if you've ever made a video, imagine doing that 7 days a week or 5 days a week, either way. Imagine
I could.
Doing that 5 or 7 days a week. There's no way.
I mean, some of his videos have less, like it's less editing than like a normal video. But if you still look at, he still has to talk. He still has to edit normally. Like it's still a lot of work.
Like just editing the voice down for everything you're doing would be tough. Like I can relate to that.
Like I couldn't do that. Like that work ethic really inspired me actually to upload a lot more of that now. And that's one of the main reasons why you're seeing this podcast, how much work is being put into it, is because
I'll be honest. Poxal's really the workhorse on this podcast. If we're being realistic, like if you're ever listening to this in 20 years and like we're arguing over who should have the rights to it because it became wildly successful, let's just be realistic. Future Tyler, it's Poxal. He put in all the work. On the front end. Let's be realistic.
I'm gonna cut and copy that, and in 20 years, when the podcast is worth $1 million, I'm gonna be like, court.
Tyler gets 25,000. I get everything else.
Tyler gets 25,000. You get everything else.
No, I'm like really happy to be doing this one though because. I don't know. I feel like this is such a fun idea, and like we are like you said, whenever you were kind of pitching it to me, you were like, "Bro, we're already having these conversations anyways."
Yeah,
like it's not like it's gonna take any more time, you know.
And these 40 minutes, even like this is entertaining. Like I genuinely think that this is turning out really well.
Oh yeah, I've had a blast just recording this. Like this, but this is pretty much just how our regular conversations go. Like this is pretty much it. Like if you're ever wondering what me and Poxal talk about, it's pretty much this. Sometimes it gets a little more vulgar. Like there will definitely be more cuss words on my end, but
not on my end.
No, not on his end. He pretty much talks the same, but I have a potty mouth whenever I'm talking to my friends in private.
He's a potty mouth. And then we when we talk about people, like we don't gossip, but when we like talk about a situation that we experienced that day, we'll use names. Whereas here we're gonna of course censor them because we do not support harassment. Cancel culture. That's actually a good topic. Cancel culture.
Dude, hold on. Save on to that topic, or hold on to that topic rather, because that's gonna be my topic for the next one.
Oh.
Yeah. Which, by the way, let me run something by you. I think we're kind of wrapping up right now, but let me just say before we do wrap up, leave in the comments if you think this is a little BS. So Poxal sends me a little list and it's like, okay, we need to switch. We'll make it to where each week a different person is the host. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. And then he goes, okay, I'll do the first week and I'll just do like, my topic will be like introduction. And it didn't hit me until we were just about to push record. I go, bro, wait, I just realized you didn't even have to think of a freaking topic. Introduction is not a topic. That's just what we were going to do for the first week. Like, how is that a topic? I literally didn't think about that until we were literally he was doing a sound check and I go, wait a second, Poxal, I just realized.
Yeah.
But oh well, it was fun.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. One last thing that I want to cover is
nope, I approve. All right, bye guys. No, I'm just
kidding. Jordan, because he's a huge inspiration for me as well. And I think just the fact that he worked through having duct tape headphones to truly do what he loves is an amazing thing. And he's an amazing content creator and, well, mostly Twitch streamer. But but yeah.
And it also makes for a good meme for you to harass him with every once in a while.
Yeah, it does. Like when we were doing the podcast with them, I changed the image because I looked at their channels before we did the podcast for the ones that I didn't know, and I changed the background to Jordan with his duct tape headphones. Like,
well, honestly though, it's funny, but it's also so freaking inspiring that he was like working through that. Like he was just like unabashed, like yeah, I know that it looks kind of funny, but it's all I got, and I'm working with my situation, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it honestly is inspiring, and that's what makes him such an inspirational person out there.
Yeah, because he's just inspirational without trying. Like he's just doing his own thing, and then like it's just kind of impressive.
He's the most inspiring person I've ever met. I'm gonna be straightforward.
Really? Like, well, I haven't really, honestly, I have not had that many dialogues with him. Like I don't think I've ever been in a voice chat with him except for that one time. And then
my bad.
Like, we message back and forth from time to time, but that's pretty much it.
I didn't mean the most inspiring. What I meant was the kindest person I've ever met.
Oh,
my bad.
Yeah.
Because JoJo is
honestly,
close too.
I haven't had enough interaction with him, like regular voice chat stuff to tell if he's like super inspiring or anything. But he's definitely nice, and he definitely inspired me that one time. So
yeah, JoJo's kind too. And there's a bunch of other kind people out there.
Yeah, I was going to say, moral of the story is there's actually way more kind YouTubers than you might think. But
yeah. I mean, like, you might think that I'm an a-hole in our public interactions between me and Saxy and me and Tyler. But honestly, like, when Tyler's an a-hole, when I'm an a-hole, or when Saxy's an a-hole, or when anybody else, like, well, not everybody, but, like, when a lot of people are a-holes, we're just memeing around with each other. It's just jokes. Don't take a lot of things seriously. Mostly. No, some stuff there are a-holes out there in the A2
Well,
community.
I think that's another good future topic is like sometimes I feel like the anime community in general can be very tone deaf to that. Like they don't understand that it's a joke, and they will like literally go start hating on people or like
No, that being said,
a good experience with that we can bring up another time, but you have a good experience with that where it was. I think that would be a good one for the cancel culture one, so I'm going to save that one as well because that's actually a really good story.
That's actually a good story. Anyway, guys,
let me go ahead and end it, Poxal. I am the host. Oh wait, no, you're the host. Go ahead.
Remember, I stole the easy topic.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, this has been the Weeb Signal Podcast. Turn on those Wi-Fi chippers, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Subscribe. Bye.
Sub to our channels.